Savage Dragon 83 from January of 2001. It's the start of a new year and the beginning of a three-part Madman crossover. Of course, Madman created by artist Mike Allred, who in turn would simultaneously feature the dragon in his book, The Atomics. You know, I love Mike Allred's work. I'm a big fan. I love his style. And like Erik Larsen, you know, Allred is born in the 60s, would be inspired by the Kirby comics of the 70s. Both guys started working professionally in the 80s and would find success with creator-owned projects in the 90s with characters they'd become best known for, Savage Dragon and Madman. And both men are still making comics to this very day. I would also put like Mike Mignola in their category as well, with all those same attributes with Hellboy here. But enough rambling. On to the comic. Got credits for Josh Eckhorn, who was referred to as some kind of weirdo by Michael Jackson. Got the actual credits down here. Words and pictures, Erik Larsen. We got Chris Eliopoulos letters, colors by Rude and Motown. Last we left off in issue 82, Dragon was taken prisoner by the Brainy Ape, who is the dictator in charge of Australia, and he's thrown into a jail cell along with Madman. So they are awaiting their turn as competitors in the gladiatorial games. But Dragon says to hell with that. He tries to escape, but he's confronted by this terrifying creature named Droog. And goes to attack him, but look at this. We've got an open panel with no borders. So Larsen is starting to relax this rigid panel structure. You also see Dragon's fist breaking this other panel here. So fans have started to take notice of this. And by next issue, we're going to have full bleed pages as well. So that's worth pointing out. Anyway, Dragon is subdued here and thrown back into the cell with Madman, a.k.a. Frank Einstein. And Dragon knew Madman from his previous life. You know, this isn't his first appearance in the book. Madman attended the wedding back in issue 41 of Barbaric and Ricochet. I can think you see him. Yeah, you see him back there. So anyway, these guys are friends, but doesn't seem like Madman is going to be much help in trying to escape this prison. There's some kind of mind control at play. Dragon notes that the Atomics here could easily break out using their powers, but they choose not to. So he is dragged out to the arena of death, where he watches a competitor get killed. This guy here is Guy Masters. So Guy helped Dragon try to escape last issue, and his punishment is death in the arena. So Dragon jumps into the killing field to try and save Guy, but he is too late. Then Brainy Ape jumps in, punching the Dragon right in the face. Dragon takes the hit to the jaw, and he says, "That's not so bad." So he goes on the offensive, and Brainy Ape is scared, so he's on the ropes trying to flee, but Dragon snatches the gorilla, just starts to pummel him, and he's seeing red, repeatedly throwing these devastating blows to the villain, when he suddenly realizes that he's beating the crap out of his friend Madman. The whole time he was under mind control, and he appears to be coming out of it, so Madman is still under the spell attacking the Dragon, but the fight spills into the crowd. The audience is just stunned. They came to watch the violence. They didn't want to participate. And so the Atomics come in to put the Dragon down. We get a little panel for each team member. We got Metal Man, Slug, Mr. Gum. They're all taking their turns using powers on the Dragon, and then It Girl delivers the knockout blow. Or I guess Madman does, but anyway, our story continues next week. On to the letters page. Larsen starts off by saying, yes, this issue was late, but he had a good excuse. He had bronchitis and pneumonia, tag team from hell. So he had been laid up in bed, unable to work. But he did reread Savage Dragon. So Larsen went back and read all 80-plus issues, like we've done on this channel, and it's rejuvenated his creative spark, and he's ready to steer this ship on the way to issue 100. Most of the letters here are a reaction to issue 81. You got a numbered list of questions. We love a numbered list of questions and answers in Fanatics. So this one from Cave 136 Says, can we have more profanity, please? And Larson says, not anytime soon. I guess Larson wants to keep this book PG-13, and profanity would make it so that kids can't buy it. I can relate. I think YouTube has kind of punished this channel recently for too many fuck words, or maybe because I said the word retard or something. I don't know. But the fact is that Savage Dragon contains adult material that isn't for children. So I guess it's inevitable that this channel get flagged and buried by the algorithm, but it is what it is. Not much else here. On to Dragonbert. We got some funny stuff. Got shots fired by Carl H., making fun of the way that Larson and Liefeld draw. One uses his mouth and the other uses his ass. So you can see why this channel is not safe for work. Image Insider from March of 2001. Got a spotlight here on the new miniseries Obergeist. I remember that one with artwork by Tony Harris, kind of a sci-fi horror concept. A reformed, undead Nazi doctor. Pretty wild. Over here, we got another ad for a new series by some Marvel guys. Tom DeFalco and Ron Frenz with a book called Mr. Right. It says, the world's greatest super athlete. Do the right thing. Say no to superheroes created before you were born and support the new champ of hoo-ha action, Mr. Right. I think that's tongue-in-cheek, but seems a little out of touch. I never read this one, but may not be as candy-assed as it appears. Got Desperate Times by Chris Eliopoulos with the finale to the Adventures of the Alien Zort in American high school. And I just kind of realized it reading this one here. This has a lot of similarities to Invader Zim. If you remember that show about an undercover alien in school. It's by comic artist Johan Vasquez. Anyway, that show would premiere later the same year in 2001. So maybe there was something in the air at the time. That's about it. We're going to end on this ad for Battle Chasers #9 by Joe Madureira. We got a double-sized issue with an Adam Warren story as well, so I might have to track that one down. All right, so enough of the bullshit. The Madman trilogy continues with issue 84 next week. Adios.